Welcome back to the channel. This video is an update on Bitcoin as we're seeing some resistance at that key level of 46K, plus the crypto adoption news that continues to come through while we are attempting an accumulation zone for cryptocurrency. Don't forget our exclusive offer for you guys that are watching this channel, your chance to win $1,000 of Ethereum, 4 lucky prizes to be given away. And so far there aren't too many entrances, so your chances of winning are much higher. Just use a link in the description. And there's also our sponsor for today's video, Koinly, for your taxes. We'll talk about that later. If you enjoy the content, share it with a friend. Then hit like and subscribe. Let's dive in. Bitcoin has obviously been on a tear for the last few days, and we do have another Fed meeting coming up in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to keep looking towards this date of around 15th to the 16th of March to see where this top comes in, whether we can push through it or we get a pullback from that point. Also looking at the RBA, we had our meeting here in Australia. So just a quick bit of news on Australia here. The board decided to maintain the cash rate at 0.1%. They note that the economy still remains resilient here, and it's picking up a hell of a lot after the Omicron setback, which was late in 2021. Global economy is still continuing to recover from the pandemic. But for us in Oz, just briefly, the central forecast is for underlying inflation to increase further in coming quarters to around 3.25%. So nothing like the US. We do hear a lot of that big news of the US going up to 7.5% of inflation, but we're less than half of that. And then it looks to decline to 2.75% over 2023 as the supply side problems resolve. So we'll keep an eye on this as well. And this is obviously playing into the property prices here in Australia and obviously the world as well, looking at the US, Canada, UK. These prices are still not coming down. I know that the doomsdayers want them to come down, but what the data is showing us is this is not coming down, and we're still ready for our cycle to head us through to 2026 for a peak in real estate prices. Capital cities, broadly speaking. We'll keep up to date with that on the channel as well. Cryptocurrencies are on the climb today. Obviously, Bitcoin's day was yesterday. I've been looking at altcoins and obviously talking about the last 24 hours. Yes, they're up a little, but the main key here is their Bitcoin values. This is the way I like to invest. So that's what I'm sharing with you guys here. We covered yesterday the BTC values of altcoins. Obviously, Bitcoin is up, but for the portfolio, so that we're actually making those huge gains that we all want from altcoins to do better than Bitcoin rather than just buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, we want to see these go up against BTC. 7 days, Luna is still up there, and we've seen a few more entrants to the green side in terms of profitable positions in altcoins against BTC value. So we're looking for the 7 days down this column, looking for green. So Atom has increased a little here. Obviously the last 24 hours, not so good, but the week overall, decent. NEAR is also in that crowd now. Yesterday was only about 3 or 4, but we're seeing a few more come through. XMR, a few percent, nothing to get out of bed for here, but we do see a few more down the list in the top 100 with Waves, similar to yesterday. Juno making up a little ground. AR, so Arweave, Rune, Thorchain is having a big 24 hours, and also the likes of Anchor also putting in a few percent. So we're starting to see that shift because they can't get crushed forever. So altcoins, we need to see them get up in their BTC values while Bitcoin is also strong. As for the market, this is the 6th straight week that we've seen positive inflows into cryptocurrencies, but the main cryptos that are getting this money come through, Bitcoin and Ethereum. There it is, weekly flows, Bitcoin, Ethereum, multi-assets, whatever is included in that. But looking at the top cryptos here, they're all negative, slightly, but they're still all negative. So the majority of the money is coming into Bitcoin and ETH. Circle's USDC hits 50 billion. A common question that comes up from viewers and people following on Instagram and Twitter is which stablecoin is the safest? And that has swung over recent times from USDT to USDC, obviously with the problems going on in USDT. Being, for one, their audits. USDT audits are very hard to come by. So USDC has a much cleaner record in that regard. USDC supply jumped 100% in the same time USDT only went up 25%. So their total market caps are getting closer and closer. Adoption of traditional finance coming over into crypto. We have longtime Goldman Sachs executive joins crypto exchange giant Coinbase. 15 years in the game with Goldman Sachs as a position of managing director. eBay CEO also says is deeply considering adding crypto payments. Last year, eBay started to allow the sale of NFTs in May of 2021. So they became the first e-commerce company to tap into the NFT frenzy. Also on the adoption, AMC Theaters will accept Doge and Shiba via BitPay. They already allow Bitcoin and Ethereum amongst other cryptos, but they're also adding these next few cryptocurrencies. Zynga is the company behind some of our favorite mobile apps, Words with Friends and Farmville. They're talking about the huge opportunity, as we know, of NFTs integrated into traditional gaming. So imagine just getting your mobile app games and then having these filled with NFTs that you can either buy and spend your money on, but hopefully start to accumulate and then be able to sell off so that you can make money from these games. A word from our sponsor today, which is Koinly. They make tax reporting simple, auto syncing to your exchanges, wallets, and other blockchains so that you can get your taxes done cheaply and efficiently at the end of your financial year. So use the link in the description to get your discounts and enjoy the services, the seamless services of Koinly. Now for the reason why late Bitcoin investors are going to hate this time in the market right now. This is the short-term stuff. And we've seen three resistance levels or three rejections at the resistance level so far. We know from Gann analysis that on the fourth attempt, not always, but often this breaks through. So what I'm seeing at the moment in the market is the market trying to decide, is it time to break through that 44 to 46K level, or are we going to come back down and test the lower prices again? You can see the hesitation here of the last day and a half as the market continues to remain between $43,000 and $45,000, trying to figure out, is it ready to go higher? So I say that the late investors are going to hate this because this is the hesitation. The hesitation right here at the moment, while we see once back in January, we got rejected, the market crashed from that point. Then we attempted again early February, got rejected, came back down, and we tried to go back through that 46, but it got rejected, and that's where we ended up with this next low that came in. So the fourth attempt is upon us. And I think, well, what we've seen in the past anyway, what happens is the market holds up, and then from this point, if we break through, the late Bitcoin investors get angsty and start to pile in once we break through these resistance levels. We can see this from history. This is something that the markets do time and time again on short-term timeframes and long-term timeframes. This one in particular was from 2019 to 2020. We have one major high here. So this is on a more macro view. The second major high, so you can see it's basically like a double top before it tanks. And then we have the third attempt here. On the fourth attempt, the market just pushed on through and kept going. So this sucks in a lot of late investors. So regardless of which asset you're investing in, this pattern happens time and time again. And so the breakout, which was nice, occurred on some nice solid volume, broke out. And why the late investors hate it is sometimes, not always, but this is the area that really sucks, is you can get caught up in this area and then the market comes back to test the old zone. So you get caught into it, you buy up high, the market doesn't push any higher, and then comes all the way back down and scares these people out of the position. This is just the psychology of the market, just using some tape reading. So you see it come back, they sell out, and you can see from the volume as well that happens. The late people come in, they get scared, they sell out, and then the market attempts to recover and move again. You can see some higher lows form, and then the trend resumes. On another macro example, you can see back in 2018 to 2019, so December through to April, one attempt at breaking the 4,200 level, another attempt because the market has gone up, come back, attempted, and then the failure. And then the third attempt, as the market came back, happened to break through on the fourth time. Nice solid volume, big breakout. So this is basically what the accumulation looks like. But we don't know if it's the accumulation until the breakout. So this is what we're always just trying to preempt and get in on either the momentum or during this period for longer term holds, not necessarily for altcoins, dollar cost averaging in on the way down, which we've covered a few times on the channel here, but potentially the dollar cost averaging on cryptos or the majors that we want to hold longer term. And using the momentum is a much safer entry strategy because the market is going in your favor and those profits are put into the bank account earlier on. So now that we had a look at that, we can see the one time, the second time, the third time. Is this potentially the fourth time, or is it potentially just the third time before we have another pullback and a further attempt? We'll know that probably in the coming days. And if it is going to be a successful attempt, we'd want to see that low come in higher than the previous low. So the market's always giving us clues as to what it wants to do next. Let's see what happens to Bitcoin over the next 1 to 3 days. Hopefully we can get that breakthrough in the market and test that next major level, which is around that $52,000. Check out the links in the description to the exclusive giveaway for Bybit, and of course, sponsor today, which is Koinly. I'll see you guys at the next video. Do those things if you found some value from the content. Like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. See you next time. Until then, have more fun to get more done.